Connecting Central Texas. This is Good Morning Texas.
I came out and opened the front door, and I could hear sirens coming from every direction. I knew then that something bad was wrong.
Today marks 1 year since that powerful tornado swept through the Salado area. Thanks for joining us. I'm Andrew Lamparski. The EF3 tornado started south of Bell County before ripping through areas just west of town. It carved a path more than 16 miles long and a half-mile wide. Nearly 24 people were hurt. Homes and businesses, along with the Cedar Valley Baptist Church, left devastated.
We take the weather seriously now. It's when they say, tornado warning or whatever, we're on watch. We don't take it lightly.
Earlier this month, dozens gathered at the church to celebrate its recovery. Governor Greg Abbott was also at that event. Let's start our 6 o'clock hour now with a check on the weather with meteorologist Josh Johns. Josh, a different look out today than a year ago.
Yeah, definitely a different look out there than a year ago. Of course, that tornado tracking across 2 counties, started in Williamson County, moved through Bell County. It was on the ground for 16.5 miles. And it even got as wide as about a half mile at one point. So a very large tornado, and it was on the high end of an EF3. In fact, it was only a mile per hour away from an EF4. So an intense situation there. Thankfully, nothing like that out there today. The live radar network quiet and is expected to be a quiet, beautiful spring-like day. A little chilly to start. We're in the lower 40s, but by afternoon, we're heading back into those upper 70s. May see a spot shower east of 35, but majority of us stay dry. More storm chances on the way. I'll break them down that 10-day coming up.
Josh, new developments in the case of a Fort Hood soldier convicted of murder. Daniel Perry's defense team filing a motion for a new trial on Tuesday. They claim that the court left out key evidence, which they say shows Garrett Foster and protesters were the first aggressors, not Perry. The former Army sergeant was found guilty on Friday of killing Foster during a Black Lives Matter protest. He claims he killed Foster in self-defense. The State Board of Pardons and Paroles is now looking into the case at Governor Greg Abbott's request. The Travis County District Attorney is asking to meet with the Board of Pardons to discuss the evidence in the case. He's asking them to review the trial transcript and evidence from trial officials. He's also asking them to speak with Foster's family before deciding on a pardon. All of this comes as Perry awaits sentencing. The fallout continues after a recent report on the military and how it disciplines soldiers. The Texas Tribune finding the Army kicks out soldiers rather than letting them face legal consequences for violent crimes. A watchdog called for the ending of the practice back in 1978, arguing service members should only be kicked out if they're unfit, not to prevent cases against the Army. The report lists Fort Hood several times. 25 News anchor Todd Unger spoke with one of the reporters who broke the story.
What is your biggest takeaway from all of this?
My biggest takeaway is that there's this very interesting practice in the Army that has no civilian equivalent that allows soldiers who've already been charged with a crime to essentially be fired and their case dismissed simultaneously. That's called separations in lieu of trial. And based on our analysis, the Army specifically is using these sorts of separations increasingly in cases that involve violent offenses like sexual assault, domestic violence, those sorts of things.
You looked at cases from across the country, but there were some troubling ones from right here at Fort Hood.
Definitely. Yeah, we looked really closely at one case. The defendant's name was Faustino Vallo. In that case out of Fort Hood that began in 2017. It was a assault case that involved strangulation and a firearm, which he fired as the victim was running away, trying to escape the assault.
These are individuals that were on track for a court-martial proceeding.
It speaks to this weird intersection of the military as this unique position of being these soldiers, both employer and judge in these scenarios. So they're essentially firing them and dismissing a criminal case against them at the same time because of that sort of weird intersection. And because they consider this an administrative action, that limits what we can know about it because they consider these records to be kept under the Privacy Act. So you're not able to get any of the court records associated with these cases if they end in a separation in lieu of trial.
This report getting some strong reaction from local veterans as well. 25 News reporter Adam Schindler spoke with a few in Killeen near Fort Hood to get their thoughts.
Tim Furch is a veteran who served over 20 years in the Army and now runs the Thai food truck in Killeen. As a person that not only served in the Army, but led soldiers throughout his military career, says he was shocked when he read the article in the Texas Tribune about service members leaving the military instead of facing charges for violent crimes.
Being a squad leader or any kind of a leader like that, when you read something like this, you would think that what if this was one of your soldiers that committed the crime? You would want them to feel the extent of the law.
Furch isn't the only veteran in Bell County feeling like justice is being avoided. Elisa Sherman is another Army veteran who says she was sexually harassed by her commanding officer and was appalled by what she read.
To circumvent, serious crimes in the military like assault, sexual assault, rape or child abuse, domestic violence against spouses and things of that nature. That should never happen.
It's not just a lack of justice that is bothering them. Furch is a business owner who worries that possible future employees will be able to keep serious crimes like these hidden from people looking to hire veterans.
When you get out with a less than honorable, there is no disclosure that is absolutely necessary on what you got out for too. So there's not going to be any way to know whether it was an actual sex crime or just they stole bubble gum from a candy shop.
That's Adam Schindler reporting. Both Furch and Sherman say something needs to change. They say these crimes should be taken seriously and criminals should be brought to justice. Well, summer is almost here, and if you're looking to get fit, listen up. Up next, an event happening this weekend that's offering fun for the whole family and a chance to get in shape.